Hi there, I'm Neville Kearns, the General Manager of Profiles International of Southern Africa, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about our products and what they can do for you. Well, I've been the Chief Executive Officer of a number of organizations over the years in various industries, and the actual people problems that you experience have a high degree of commonality. Those people problems really come down to, if you distill it, to a matter of finding and retaining the right people. Now, retaining people is often assumed to be a monetary thing. You pay them enough, they'll stay. Well, that's not true. People often leave for many other reasons other than purely financial ones. The average person has, you can focus on 6 parameters which identify the things which those people will want to find satisfying in a job. The first one, I'll go through them very quickly though, the first one is their needs. Those are their financial needs, the requirements to have a home and feed their family. The second one is the emotional wants, things that they'd like to have, the things which they aspire to. The third is the environment in which they work. Is it a pleasant environment, or is it a despicable environment which they want to get out of and get home every evening? The third one, fourth one at least, is the job role clarity. That is understanding what is expected of them in their job and that they're able to fulfill those requirements and meet the expectations of their employer. Their values alignment is important to some people, and to those people who have specific moral values, working for a company where those moral values are trampled on or ignored will be something which may cause them to leave the employment of that company. But the sixth, and to my mind one of the most significant ones, is that of job fit. Well, specifically when it comes to the job fit one, the PXT is eminently designed to look at not just the person's personality, but their thinking style and what their personal preferences are. It's not a matter of, oh, the person's a square peg, therefore he's going to fit in a square hole. He has to really want or like that particular occupation. The PXT helps also in a second dimension, and that is when you are interviewing people or deciding on people for promotion, you will have to look at the past, the present, and the future. The past speaks to the person's experience, where they've worked before, how they performed, what are their performance ratings. You can look at all those elements, but that's history. The present is where their qualifications are now, where they're now, and where they are planning to be in the future. That you look from a present point of view. That you can do by interviews. You can check the credentials of that individual. Those elements are easily established in that second dimension. But it's the third dimension, that of the future, which the PXT speaks to particularly, and which we are able to look at more than just the person's characteristics in terms of their behavior. We look at their thinking style, their ability to acquire knowledge, and the nature and the manner in which they acquire that knowledge, their verbal reasoning, their thinking style, their numerical ability and the way they handle and can crunch numbers. And then third element within that lot is their own personal preferences. Well, the answer to that is simply yes. And the reason why it's so emphatically yes is that when you don't have that future element, you've actually lost at least 30% to 50% of the information that you need to make a cogent decision. The PXT doesn't replace the interview, the job interview, the CVs, the documentation, the background checks that you'll conduct. You still have to conduct those. But the PXT gives you a full, rounded picture. The answer to that is an emphatic yes. The beauty of the PXT is that as a client, when you buy a PXT, you buy all the reports. You don't have to draw all the reports, but there's 13 ways in which you can see aspects of that individual. you can have an individual report which you can hand to that individual concerned, and they can have a look at how the company sees them via the means of a PXT. You can have a report for that manager, and that is caged in terminology as such that the manager can now interview and manage that person. You get prompted for interview questions which you might otherwise not think of to ask. So often when interviewers are having to manage a large number of people during an interview session, they end up with a rota, almost like a parrot fashion, same questions to different people. Here, the questions are aligned to that person. The report can also be produced in graphic form, but with percentages, so you can rank and compare the people there. It doesn't mean that the highest percentage necessarily gets the job, but at least when you make a choice, it's an informed choice, and that's what I keep repeating, and I must emphasize, the beauty of the PXT is that you have the advantage of a good informed choice. Terminology that we use here, it's a highly scientific acronym. All people are ducks. They're DUCs, not the bird type, but we consider them as being different, unique, and complex. And it's that last element specifically, that people are complex, which makes it necessary to look at individuals as individuals and not as a mass. And the Profiles PXT is one of the most powerful instruments on the market today to sort your ducks and get them in a row. Thank you.